Disclaimer: this is not financial advice. Always do your own due diligence before putting your money to work. With that out of the way, let's have some fun and enjoy the episode. What's good, you guys? Welcome to another episode of the Rich Off Gangs podcast. Episode 21 is your boy CB checking back in with you guys. Happy Mondays. Hope you all are having a great day. I hope you all had a great weekend. And man, before we get started, it is now Q2 of the year. Make sure you're sticking to your plan and staying consistent in your approach. Each and every day, you have to lay one brick down. That is your goal. Lay down one brick or one activity that attributes to your success. That's all you need. It's just one brick or one activity that attributes to your success each and every day. Stack the small wins, compound the small wins, and turn those into big gains over time. Most people that lack good judgment lack this one quality skill, and that's wisdom. Today we're going to be talking about 3 different tips of wisdom that you can use on your journey of life and investing, whether it be time, money, or energy. Number 1, we have treating your time like a currency. What does that look like? Treating your time like a currency looks like exactly how it sounds. Essentially, you, instead of using money to buy things and pay for things, you're using your time and treating your time as something that you're spending each and every day, because you are. Because each and every day you have 24 hours. And after that 24 hours is gone, the next day you get another 24 hours, but you have less than the day you had before. Don't let that go into one ear and out the other. Every day you're spending 24 hours. So once you finish that day, you now have less 24 hours than you did the day before. So how you should be approaching each and every day is asking yourself, what am I spending my time on? Am I spending my time on things that are helping me build myself up and growing into the person I want to be? Or am I spending my time on things that's not? These are things that most people overlook and take for granted, because every day they wake up, they think that they just have no purpose. That's not the case. You have a purpose. You just have to tap into your purpose and really live within your purpose and understand what that is. So using your time like a currency is the best approach in life. And that's your first wise piece of advice. Your second piece of advice is to invest into real assets. This applies not only to investment assets financially, but this applies to relationships. This applies to health. This applies to knowledge. This applies to everything that has a tag or a label as value. Anything that you can deem valuable, you want to invest into that with the utmost amount of investment, energy, money, time, whatever. So if you have a relationship that you're building, for example, you have somebody that you're wanting to be in a serious, deep, intimate relationship with and turn into something bigger and greater over time, like a family, you're going to want to put the most energy and effort into that relationship, and you're going to want the best possible results from it. Why? You don't want a low producing result from something or someone that you're spending a lot of time with each and every day, and especially if you're planning on building something like a family with them. That's the last thing you want. You want something that's productive, healthy, abundant, positive, a good environment for your future children or your future family that you're trying to create. So you want to have a good partner. You want to invest your time and energy into somebody that's a good partner and a good, valuable asset. When it comes to investing in companies, you're buying companies that you see valuable and able to produce a good enough return, whether it be from cash flow or ownership value. Your job and your goal is to find companies and things that create cash flow and then help you allocate into more ownership of said company, whether it be in one company or multiple companies, it doesn't matter. Your goal is to accumulate enough cash flow and accumulate enough ownership in companies that have value to see wealth. That's how you create riches and wealth. And then, of course, knowledge and investing go alongside with that when it comes to learning these things and learning these approaches and ways you want to go about investing in said companies or building said relationships or making said connections. You want to learn these things along the way. So treating your time like a currency is number one. And then number two, we have investing into reliable assets. Last piece of advice, work hard consistently. That means every day you show up with the same amount of intensity each and every day. Don't let up on the gas. When the days you feel burnt out, you got to show up on those days. The days you don't feel burnt out and you feel like you want to take a break, don't take a break. Show up each and every day with the same level of intensity you had the day prior. Why? This helps you get closer to your goal a lot faster, closer to your results a lot faster. So treating every single day with the same amount of energy and intensity and consistent input will give you the results in sure enough time that make you feel accomplished. So these are just 3 pieces of advice and 3 pieces of wisdom, wise advice that you can use on your journeys to invest your time, money, and energy. You're always investing whether you know it or not. That's just the reality. The reality is that you're always going to be investing your time. You're always going to be investing your energy. You're always going to be investing something in some form or fashion, whether you agree to it or not. Be intentional with the things you're investing in. Be intentional with where you're putting your time in. Be intentional with where you're putting your energy. Be intentional with where you're choosing to learn the things that you're learning. Be intentional on your journey so that you can tap into your purpose. Investment tip of the week. Learn from your losses. Given the market that we're having right now, I'm sure there's a lot of people who have seen negative results in the market. And there's been people who have seen positive results in the market. It simply just comes down to skill and experience. The least experienced person is probably seeing more losses than the more experienced person, because the more experienced person has gone through the losses long enough to learn from those mistakes. Each loss is a lesson. Every time you lose money in the market, every time you get set back, every time you fail, it's always a lesson behind the failure. Your job is to ask yourself, what did I do wrong? How can I learn from this mistake? How can I learn from this failure? How can I learn from this loss? Your job is to learn from the losses and turn those losses into lessons. Because once you learn your mistakes, you now know how to move accordingly moving forward. And if another mistake pops up, you now add that to your book of wisdom and your book of losses and lessons to now know how to move forward, and so on and so forth. You continue to move forward. You continue to slowly progress over time. And now you're building up, because at some point you'll reach a breakout point where you've reached enough losses or lessons to learn just enough to see the results that you want to see. And then from there, it's now reiterating and duplicating the process over and over and over and over and over again. But it starts with losses. It starts with headache. It starts with hardships. It starts with negative impact. It doesn't have a positive result off the first interaction. Sometimes it does, but most times it doesn't. So you have to learn from your losses and use those losses as lessons so that you can get to where you want to be so much quicker. Look at every NBA player that's lost a championship. Every NBA player that's been to the championships and lost the championship has most likely gone back. Why? They knew what they did leading up to the point that they got there, but then once they lost, they had to learn a new thing. How did I lose? What did I do wrong? What was the issue? What can I do to improve? And then circle a year later, they're back there and they win the championships. Players like LeBron and Steph go right back to the championship because they know they have what it takes to get there. If they got there once, they know they can do it again. And that's a fact. If you ever get somewhere before, that means you've done it once. You could do it again. You have to figure out how you did it. You have to figure out your process. Once you figure out the process and the way that you did it, the strategy behind it, now you have a real working system. Once you have a real working system, it's just fine tuning and tweaking things to improve the system in order for it to become a more effective system. I hope you guys are following me, because this is real game. Everything is built off systems. Everything is built off of systematic approaches to things in order to see said results. It's backed off of information, and that's it. Everything's backed off of data, information, numbers, losses, how many times it worked, how many times it didn't work, what were we doing that worked, what were we doing that didn't work, cut out what doesn't work, implement what does, scale what works, make it go this way 10 times more than it went that way. It's all data that is information utilized to help you improve your results. So saying all that to say, learn from your losses, record your losses, intake your losses, and plug your losses in and take notes of what you did wrong, so that you can look back on those notes, you can look back on those moments and remember, okay, this is what happened in this moment when I looked at this chart. Apply that to today. This same thing is happening right now. Should I take this position? I probably shouldn't, because when I saw this happen before, it can possibly happen again. Now you start to delegate and separate what's working and what's not. Okay, this didn't work, but this did. Maybe I should look for more of this so I can apply it here. It's very, very simple. That's your trading tip of the week. If you guys want more tips and tricks about day trading and investing, make sure to click the link in the bio, www.continuebelief.com. I share a lot of free resources and tools, tips and tricks about how to day trade, how to get started investing, and so much more. So make sure you guys check out the link in the bio. Thank you guys so much. Make sure to leave a like and follow. And yeah, see you guys later. So the stock market has finally reached correction territory. As of last week, we saw a strong drawdown from 662 all the way down to about 640. Actually, no, we broke below 640. We went all the way down to about 633 and closed around 634 or something like that. Mind you, just 2 to 3 weeks ago, we were about at 670 to 680 in the ETF of SPY. So we saw almost a 10% correction, which is a corrective period in the ETF SPY. So what does that mean going forward? Is this the lowest we can go? I don't think it is. I think that we can possibly see lower, given that we are having a lot of controversy around Iran and the oil transportations. If we don't get that resolved sooner than later, we will have more issues that can arise from that not being resolved. And that could cause more strain on the market and possibly even cause it to pull back a lot more. So I don't think we won't see lower. I think that we will see lower. I think that it's possible we can get a little relief bounce eventually. When, I don't exactly know when, but I do believe that we can get a relief bounce. We are approaching some strong major demand levels. As I mentioned, we are now reaching the correction territory of 10%. So we could see a relief bounce around this level. And then from there, we could see another rejection down lower if we do not resolve the Iran war. That is our number one priority, I believe, right now. Everything else that's been going on has kind of been laid off in the background, at least, so it seems. And the Iran war is like everyone's number one priority and concern. So that's my thoughts on the ETF and where we're at right now. I do think that is still this is now presenting good buying opportunities, and I want to mention and talk about my favorite companies that I'm like in love right now, and I'm looking to buy shares of and possibly even buy leaps of. These are 3 companies that I'm looking to buy shares and leaps of with this current pullback that we're seeing in the market. Number 1, we have Microsoft. The current prices are right around $356.77. I believe that Microsoft can see a pushback higher, going to $600 minimum. I don't think this is gonna happen overnight, but I do think it is a possible reality where we see Microsoft being worth $600 in the near future. Near future, like no less than 2 years, in my opinion. No more than 2 years, I feel like, in my opinion. Coming in at number 2, we have Robinhood. Ticker symbol HODD. Robinhood is currently sitting at $66.02. I think that Robinhood can see a price of $200, and that's why I think Robinhood is a good stock to buy, given this pullback. It had all-time highs of roughly around 150, I believe, and so we've seen over a 50% pullback almost. So now that we're pulling back to these kinds of ranges, I definitely think that Robinhood is worth buying at this price. And lastly, the number 3 stock that I have on my list is Oracle. Ticker symbol ORCL. Its current price is at $139.66. Coming from all-time highs of roughly around $350, we've seen almost a 65% pullback, which is insane. We haven't seen these kinds of lows on Oracle since the dot-com bubble, whenever it had its crashed in. And I think that's what's looming fear around this company. And also it has a lot of debt on its balance sheet. Those are the 2 red flags I think that's causing alarm for Oracle. My indicated price that I think Oracle can reach over time would definitely be roughly around $400. So these are 3 companies that I think are worth buying in this current dip that we're seeing in the market. Let me know your guys' thoughts. Let me know if you guys have your eyes on those companies as well. If you guys are looking to buy those companies, if you guys are looking to buy other companies, let me know. But those are the companies that I'm looking at, and honestly, there's a lot of opportunity that is presenting itself. These are just 3 companies that I saw and I liked and loved based off of the pullbacks that we've seen and the current all-time high prices that we have seen, and where they're currently at and what they're doing in the economy regarding AI and just development. So yeah, those are my 3 prices for those 3 companies. Other than that, that will conclude this episode. I wanted to thank God once again, and also mention that no matter what the world is experiencing, if God has you in favor, He will make sure you are good. God will take care of His people no matter what. There's no reason to be concerned. There's no reason to have fear. There's no reason to have doubt when you have a almighty, all-powerful God like the God we have. So just food for thought. Don't think too much about these wars. Stay prayed up and continue to pray for people, because there's people who are affected by these things and who are really experiencing crazy moments in life right now. So just pray for those people and pray that this comes to an end sooner than later, because there's a lot of wild things going on in the world, a lot of, negative stories being put out. And it's important for us to practice peace and positivity and prosperity, because there's so much abundance in this world of resources to go around when it comes to utilization of life and just applying life. We man-made create the shortage or the supply. We dictate and create what's available and what's not. Like, it's on us. So if we just open our minds to another way of approaching things, then we would see a whole lot more good in the world than we do negative. That's just my thoughts and opinions. It's all about power at the end of the day. People just want to have power. And that's why I do what I do now with Rich Off Gains, is to help other people create the power within themselves and create the power within their household, their family, and their lineage. Because the government's not going to save you. That corporation's not going to save you. There's no one else that's going to save you other than you. So you have to put yourself first and your family first, and really create things that will outlast and outlive these current conditions that we're in. With that being said, guys, this is episode 21 of the Rich Off Gains podcast. Once again, happy Winning Mondays. I appreciate you all for tuning in. If you guys are new, make sure to show love and support in any way that you can. If you guys are watching this on the podcast, make sure to bookmark this podcast and follow for more. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell as well. It's your boy CB. I'll see you guys in the next one.